Okay, yeah, no, okay. I'm done with this kid. This thing is just too hot. Phew! When you think about The Nightmare Before Christmas, you probably picture Tim Burton's stop-motion masterpiece, the hauntingly beautiful world of Halloween Town brought to life by Jack Skellington and his strange obsession with Christmas. But what if I told you that there's both a prequel and a sequel to this story? Last year we talked about the prequel, The Nightmare Before Christmas, The Pumpkin King for the Game Boy Advance, which you can watch the video right here or in the description down below. But today we're going to talk about the sequel. The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge isn't just a forgotten tie-in game. It's a full-on continuation of the movie's plot. Officially licensed by Disney and made by Capcom, the same studio behind Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, and Mega Man. Released in 2004 in Japan and 2005 internationally, it came out exclusively for the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox, even though, oddly enough, it never made the jump to newer consoles, not even digitally, which is a shame when you take into account that the game brought back most of the original movie's cast, including Chris Sarandon as Jack Skellington and Ken Page as Oogie Boogie himself. And surprisingly, this game is still a musical, but more on that later. Before starting, I want to talk a little bit about the gameplay. Imagine Devil May Cry, but instead of Dante's sword, you got a stretchy green whip that looks like one of those rubber hands your mom used to buy you at the dollar store. You fight enemies, unlock new costumes for Jack that change your fighting style, and explore an expanded Halloween Town filled with secrets and familiar faces. This game is weird, it's ambitious, and somehow it actually works, and it has become one of my favorite games of all time. So let's dive into how The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge, became one of the strangest and most underrated Disney sequels ever made. And this is your spoiler warning for both the game story, since we're going to cover everything, and The Nightmare Before Christmas movie. The game starts with Jack being bored on how Halloween has been very repetitive. But since the movie, he has learned his lesson and is now getting ready and prepared to improve Halloween in general. Jack goes to Dr. Finkelstein's lab, and that's where the doctor gives Jack the main weapon he will use during the entire game, the Soul Rubber, which works as one of those little stretchy hands that you use to attack enemies. Jack decides to leave town in order to research how to make Halloween better, and that's the moment in which Shock, Lock, and Barrel prepare a way to bring Oogie Boogie back to life, since remember, he died in the previous film. Sally sends a help letter to Jack, and that's when the game really starts. Jack arrives to Halloween Town and he is faced with one of Oogie Boogie's minions. So you begin your first encounter with the enemies in the game. You do this by defending the town square, and eventually you make your way into the town hall, where you find Oogie Boogie, or at least his shadow. So you fight Oogie Boogie's shadow, and when you defeat it,
somehow Oogie returned.
Alright, I think this is a good time to talk about how this game is a musical, kinda, in a way. Let me explain. During, and only during the boss fights, we have to fill this music note meter by hitting the boss or by defeating the minions that spawn in. When the meter is full, we transition into a rhythm game in which we need to hit the right buttons on the right time following the beat of the song, which is fun, but I do want to mention that this game doesn't bring the songs from the movie in the game, since the lyrics do not make sense. So the solution Capcom came up with is to change the lyrics of every song from the movie and change it to fit what's going on. This was mind-blowing when I first started working on this video, and the lyrics are good. It is such a blast to play through this game. I cannot show you the full song, but I do recommend looking them up on YouTube. It is worth it. And whenever I can, I will show you some clips of it, like this first boss fight against Oogie Boogie.
I'm the Pumpkin King!
Now let's continue the story. During the second level, we help out the residents of Halloween Town by saving the outside of the witch's shop and rescuing the clown with a tearaway face. After saving the clown, he helps us opening the gate, which allows us to keep exploring into the graveyard, where we find the hanging tree who has lost his hanging man. So we have to find 5 of them. But in order to do so, we first approach Shock, Lock, and Barrel, who pretty much confess to Jack that they are the ones behind all of this. We have a mini boss fight against Lock, which is a 20v1 with some of Oogie's goons. We, of course, win, but Luck gets away. We find Zero and he helps us to find all of the missing hanging men. So we take them back to the hanging tree and we continue exploring the graveyard as we keep helping the hanging tree by picking up some of the fallen grapes. And yes, of course, we continue defeating enemies. We also get a note from Sally delivered from a paper airplane. Maybe we are close to finding her. We visit the burial chamber, not before defeating Luck's ass again, and inside this chamber we find Sally, but in order to rescue her, we have our second boss fight. This time we face a giant spider, and every time we hit its butt, the spider dissolves into little spiders that we can kill, and then we have our musical events that honestly, I had a lot of fun.
Let's dance!
We get a remix of Sally's song, but this time as a duet and in a very epic feel. And this is my favorite song in the entire game. But anyways, I think this is a good time to talk about Jack's costumes. Besides his Halloween attire where Jack's main weapon is the Soul Robber, which is used for combos, grabs and some special attacks, Jack has two other costumes which get unlocked as we continue the story. The first one is the Pumpkin King. This form grants Jack fire-based abilities, burning enemies, igniting objects, doors, and shooting out fire. This form is very useful for puzzles and to deal great amounts of damage. The second one is Santa Claus. In this costume, Jack lays down presents that have some fun effects, like stun enemies, freeze, and poison. But you will use the normal attire around 95% of the time. Also, as a side note, every attack and ability can be upgraded at the witch's shop, which can be accessed almost at every level. You just need enough pumpkin money. I have no idea what these things are, but this is the main currency you will use during the entire game. Now, let's continue with the story. After rescuing Sally, she lets us know that Dr. Finkelstein is being controlled somehow by Oogie Boogie, so it is now our job to save him. We head into the lab only to find Igor blocking the way, so he sends us on a fetch quest for a bone biscuit. During this quest, we get ambushed by Shock, but we defeat the 20 ghosts she sends after us. We also answer a quiz made by the Corpse Kid and he gives us the biscuit that we can give to Igor. Once on our way to enter the lab, we notice that it starts to attack us, so we have to go through a lightning maze and use some rocks to destroy the power generator. We manage to avoid the enemies on the way and we enter to the lab itself. But inside we are met with Shock again, and we have to go up to the doctor's lab Indiana Jones style, as we avoid all of the falling boulders Shock is sending our way. But we do manage to get upstairs and catch up with her, and we let her go, not without a warning. But now, we're on the top and we find the doctor, and our suspicions were correct. Oogie Boogie had switched his brain with an evil one, so we have a boss fight against Dr. Finkelstein, and this time we have an original song that is being a duet between Jack and Dr. Finkelstein.
It seems you've lost your crown in a few years. Once you'll be 6 feet in the ground. Can't you see this is absurd?
We managed to switch the doctor's brain with the real one, and then the doctor and Sally helps us to prepare for what's coming, noticing that today is actually December 24th, almost Christmas Day. It is important to mention that during these boss fights, we have been collecting doors from different holidays. This will be used later. We now head into the pumpkin patch where we do have to fight many enemies. At one point, we also find Shock, Luck, and Barrel, and they have prepared us a maze in the pumpkin patch filled with enemies. But while it was a little challenging, we managed to push through. At the end of the maze, we find the giant pumpkin head being attacked from within, so we find our way to go inside the pumpkin and deal with several floors of enemies. At the very core, we find Barrel, so we have our due boss fight with him, but at the end, like always with these kids, we let him go with a warning. And now we reach chapter 12. And when researching this game, this was the chapter I was warned about. But why? In this level, we go to the residential area where Oogie Boogie has added an engine to the clown's tricycle, so we have to save him, but no matter what we do, we cannot stop him. Here's where many people playing the game gave up. So what are we supposed to do? Well, of course the game doesn't give you any signs, but you need to use the presents from Santa's costume to stun him. Talk to the witch and then head to Dr. Finkelstein's lab, and in this lab you need to grab a special tool. And then you need to go back to the residential area, stun the clown again, which is not easy on itself. You have to time your presents correctly while the clown is on a random path, and the presents take a good 10 seconds to detonate. So yeah, there is no way to control it, it's just pure luck. But then after the clown gets stunned, that's when you have to get close to him, pause the game, go to the items menu and use the special tool we got at Dr. Finkelstein's lab, and yeah, this is by far the worst level in the game, but now that it's done, we can continue. We find out that the vampire brothers have been stuck in their bat form thanks to Oogie Boogie. So we of course have to save them, and this is another one of those levels that I didn't enjoy, like at all. So you go around the residential area, which is huge and filled with traps and monsters, a lot of monsters, and some very powerful ones as well, and the bats are very well hidden. It took me more than an hour to find them all. And once you find them, it will also take you a while to catch them all, since they are very small targets and you are going to miss your first couple of attempts on trying to grab them. But anyway, after we reunite the four brothers, they each give us a key to the Major's house, and also spoil to us Oogie's evil plan. He has captured the leaders from all of the other holidays, and he plans to become the king of all holidays. That's the reason we are reuniting all of the doors. So now our mission is clear. Find all the doors, release all the holiday kings, and stop Oogie Boogie once and for all. We now head into the Mayor's house and we notice that he is being hanged from the roof, so we start climbing up his house as we defeat many enemies along the way and rescue the Mayor. He lets us know that he believes another holiday door is located on the very roof of his house. So we continue climbing and fighting enemies until we reach the top. On the rooftop, we finally have a boss battle against Lock, Shock, and Barrel. This one is divided into two phases. The first one consists on battling them while they are right around in their bathtub, which can get pretty annoying but manageable. The second phase consists on dealing with the three kids at once, but this one I will argue is easier than phase 1, and yes, the music slaps.
Hey, don't be foolish. Think now all this danger is in fun and games. When this town is back to normal, do you really want the blame?
Help you, Mr. Oogie. This is so much fun. Even this day,
After defeating them, we have them cornered. Jack is fed up with them and he wants to give them a real lesson this time. But they activate a trap and we fall into Oogie's secret lair, which is a lava-filled death trap, where everything tries to get you. Yeah, it is hard enough to platform and parkour around this area, but we do it, surprisingly, and after that we reach the king's room, where all the leaders are being held captive. We also notice that the Christmas door is empty, but before being able to go inside, we have a little boss fight against another spider. But this one is actually really easy. So now we can enter the door that is meant for Santa Claus, avoid many other traps, and wow, gee, these are a lot, but we do manage to make it safe and sound to the end of this corridor. This is where we find Oogie Boogie again, where he tells us that he is currently trying to capture Santa Claus. We have a very tedious fight with Oogie Boogie where we have to chuck explosive dice into his mouth as we avoid all the sword cards attacks and use the power of music to attack him.
Stop me! I'm the king of 7 holidays!
After we defeat him, it is revealed that he has hidden the Christmas door in an unexpected location. And Oogie reveals that we already defeated his shadow and that the real him is in Christmas Town. So we get the Easter door, and now the only door missing is the Christmas door. We exit the layer in a dramatic way, just like in the movie, and we find Zero, who helps us find the key to the gate that will take us to the Spiral Hill. On our way to the gate, we fight even more enemies, but this time we have some iconic views and we are in my favorite location in the entire Nightmare Before Christmas universe. I love it. We head into the top of the Spiral Hill and we use the doors to activate a statue that will allow us to go to the Hinterlands. That's where all the doors to the different holidays are, but not before finding Sally, who expresses her worries. Well, we have a beautiful duet with her and assure her that everything is going to be alright. We enter the Hinterlands and we start finding empty trees, and that's where we start placing the holiday doors. However, we start finding out trees that have decoy doors. Decoy doors resembling the real ones that we use in the Spyro here, remember? So this is what we have to do. We have to grab the decoy doors from the forest, which always come with a pretty challenging battle on a time limit, which I barely made it several times, and return the doors to the mechanism to switch them up with the real ones, so that way we can take the real ones into the hinterlands. Also, it is important to mention that the hinterlands are an actual maze. You will get lost, a lot. Imagine the Lost Woods from The Legend of Zelda. Yeah, these are pretty much the same. Finding the doors was no easy task. But we do it, we find them, and we take them out to the statue. On our way back to the hinterlands, we are ambushed by two giant fire and ice golems. But if I'm being completely honest, these weren't hard, like, at all. These are really just regular golems that are just taller and have more powerful attacks. But we faced so many regular golems by this point, they pose no real threat. But the good thing about defeating them is that we now get the Christmas Town door. Now let's put them all back in their place. So we do exactly that, and eventually we make our way to the 7 holidays, where we can put the Christmas door where it belongs. And it sucks us right into Christmas Town, just like in the movie. In the meantime, the mayor frees up all the other holiday leaders. Unfortunately, we do not get to actually see them, but still, we are making progress. In Christmas Town, we notice that Oogie Boogie has transformed the giant Christmas tree in the middle of the town into an Oogie Boogie tree. So we talk to the local elves, and we make sure to find all of the scattered ornaments around Christmas Town to fix up the tree. Then we actually find Oogie, and he prepared a deadly trap for Santa Claus. So we do a pretty easy boss fight in which we have to change the train tracks in order to save Santa, as we slowly but surely destroy the train with our attacks. Oogie Boogie then steals Santa's sleigh, but not before an elf puts a Halloween present inside. Sally arrives to Christmas Town with the sleigh they created last year, and now Santa and Jack head after Oogie Boogie, and now it is time for the final fight. The Halloween present explodes, dropping Oogie, and both Santa and Jack arrive to the scene. We tell Santa to prepare himself to deliver presents as Jack heads on to face Oogie. Oogie has become a bootleg 7 Holiday King giant. He has transformed the Spyro Hill into the 7 Holiday Trashed Hill. So, with surrounding elements from the 7 holidays and Oogie being built with scraps of this, we face him as we find any means necessary to damage him. This final battle really gave me vibes of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time's final boss. It has this very epic feel to it. The boss fight wasn't hard though, and we managed to beat him. Or so we thought. It is now time for the second phase, and this phase is entirely musical.
It's payback time!
Is that all you got to say?
Because remember, this is a rhythm game at its core, so we face Oogie Boogie with a pretty epic remix version of Oogie's song.
So why don't you just It's over! It's over! Your scheme was bound to fail! It's over! You're finished here! Your next stop will be
I cannot play the whole thing in this video, but do look it up, the lyrics are amazing.
I'm the 7 Holidays King!
You're king of nothing!
This final part is tough, with some pretty fast moving buttons and hard combinations that feel unnatural. And if you lose, you have to do the entire level again, including the giant Oogie fight. I died 3 times, but at the end we do defeat Oogie and he is reduced to scraps. Santa thanks us and goes off to celebrate Christmas, and both Jack and Sally have a moment together, and Jack promises that he will stay in Halloween Town this time. And that was the game's story. Wow! This was an experience, but there's still a few more things that I want to talk about. For example, after beating the game, you unlock costumes depending on your overall grade on all 24 chapters. The costumes you can unlock are Pajama Jack, Dancer Jack, Actor Jack, and Ghost Jack. But wait, did I just say grade? Yeah, this game actually has a ranking system and you have to meet 4 different criteria per level. Those being time, the faster you beat a level, the better the grade, combo by attacking enemies without taking damage, damage in which you have to take as little damage as possible, and exclamation mark count, in which the exclamation marks are collected if you surprise enemies or taunt them to make them angrier, and the more, the better. Also, if you rank A or better in all 4 criteria, you unlock a little figurine that you can display in your house. Overall, I know this statement is thrown around a lot these days, but The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge for the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox is truly a hidden gem. This game has the music, the simple but sometimes challenging gameplay, fun boss fights, and of course, it continues the story of The Nightmare Before Christmas. Hopefully Capcom and Disney re-release this game at some point in time, cause I had a blast with this game. My only real complaint with this game is that we didn't get to explore all the other holidays. I would have loved to go to Valentine's Town, to Thanksgiving Town, or at least meet their leaders, but yeah, this game stayed safe. So in conclusion, if you're a die-hard Nightmare Before Christmas fan, yeah, this game is a no-brainer. You have to get it, you have to play it. It is so much fun, both this game and the prequel for the Game Boy Advance, which you can find in the description down below. And that's going to be all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a fantastic time. My name is DAGG. Do not forget to leave a like and subscribe. That really helps out the channel a lot. And happy Halloween!